in 11th grade, I decided that I needed to go to summer school because I needed to prepare for some courses that I would need for college. I would have been the first one in my family to go to college. And I went to summer school at Bayview, and when I got there, they had put me in a home ec class and another class that I do not remember. Of course, I went to the counselors and finally ended up with the principal and said I didn't come to summer school to take these classes. I said I came so I could prepare for some college courses. And the principal said, well, this is what we got for you. This is where we can fit you in, and this is what you have to take. I said, well, I don't have to take those. What do you mean you don't have to take it? You know, a little back and forth there. And I said, well, I'll show you. And I went and joined the Marine Corps. So boy, did I really show him, eh? I'm what they call a Hollywood Marine. Do I look like a movie star? And Hollywood is they call the Marines that go to boot camp in San Diego. Call us Hollywood Marines. Went through some advanced, or what they call battalion infantry training, or BITS. And that was 30 days. And then it was shipped over to Vietnam. Flew over on Japanese Airlines.
What was that like, getting off the plane and being in Vietnam?
My first recollection is the blast of heat coming at you. And then I remember that one of the guys got off the plane. When he got down to the bottom of the stairs, he collapsed. And we found out later that it was heat stroke. That bad. I mean, that's how hot it was. To me, being in boot camp and being a Marine and always having your rifle with you, even when you went to sleep, you took your rifle to bed, and this was in boot camp. It was strange getting off of the airplane into a war zone and not having a weapon. When we got to that tent, we were told we were secure. But later on that evening, we started getting mortar rounds. And what I did was I ripped out one of the legs from the cots that they had there, the fallout cots for you. So that was my weapon. My job was to provide company artillery with the mortar. So we carried the M60 mortar out in the field with company-sized strength. And when we settled in for the night, when we formed the perimeter, our crew captain would, he wasn't a captain, but that's what we call him, the crew captain would select a place where we would dig the motor pit, and we would set the motor in. And then the job of, we had the tripod carrier, and he carried the tripod and the tube, and we had the base plate. So when they sat in together. And my job was to disperse the other men, the ammo carriers that they called us, and you work your way up to different locations in the perimeter and pick up all the mortar rounds, because every Marine had to carry a mortar round or two in their pack. It was May 3rd when I got hit in 1969. And so we traveled all night and set up in a village. And of course, the village was supposed to be friendly because our mission was to secure the food supply for the village and keep it away from the hands of the enemy at that time. So we got into the village. The captain sent out a search and destroy force, and the rest of us surrounded the village or put a perimeter up around the village. And because some of the people were out doing search and destroy, the motor team had to send the ammo carriers to the perimeter. And me and my partner were there maybe about 5 or 10 minutes when we saw two people coming in on our location, and we had to wave them in, and they had their hands up, so they were surrendering. So of course we had to talk them in and walk them in, And when we got down, we were, we secured him, and then we started to search him. Little things give them away to you as the one that's doing the searches, that they may or may not be friendly. In this case, one of the guys had a Zippo lighter, and it had the name of a Marine on there. So we knew most likely the Marine didn't give it to him. So we kind of treated him as not friendly. And when I was searching the other one, my partner, of course, was watching me in the back here, and I had my rifle in my left hand, and I kind of bent over with my right hand to do searching, and had the hand up here, and all of a sudden I just felt my rifle drop from my hand. And they say that your life spins in front of your, goes by in seconds, and it seemed like everything was real slow motion until I hit the ground, and it came back real fast. And the first thing I said was my rifle. A Marine without his rifle is nothing. So I was trying to get my rifle, but I couldn't move my arm. And then I heard some shots, and my partner shot one of the prisoners, and then the other one laid back down because he was going for my rifle. That's what he told me afterwards. It's like something that happens in 30 seconds that just stays with you forever. I always think that the bullet that went through me is the one that hit the lady that was sitting there watching this going on, and it hit her in the head. When I fell, she fell on top of me. And I have my arm that won't move with her on top of it, which makes it even harder, and I have her brains falling on me. And all I could do with my right hand was to try to take them out and just try to get them away. But I guess as I was doing that, I was putting like more blood all over me. And I was finally able to push her off to the side. And I remember some guy getting up and say, "I'll get him," John Wayne style. And I just kept saying, "No, stay back," because by this time we are getting fired on. There are more rounds coming into our perimeter. I tied my own tourniquet. We were taught this in boot camp. We say, if it's just coming out, don't worry about the tourniquet. Just put pressure on it. If it's squirting out, the tourniquet. So I remember I took my web belt off. I still carry it, and tied it around me, and until the corpsman got to me and was able to do what he could there, and I was medevaced out in a helicopter.
Where were you hit?
I was hit in the upper arm here.
Okay. And these were enemy soldiers just shooting at you?
Yes, from a tree line. That was what Forrest Gump calls the $1 million wound. And like Forrest Gump, I never saw the $1 million. But I did spend some time in Japan, and then, Da Nang first, the medevac unit there, and they patched me up, but they didn't sew me up. They stopped the bleeding and had a lot of bandages on me. And after about 3 or 4 days there, I was sent to Japan. And in Japan is where they treated me a little bit more, and I was not able to move my hand at the time. And after a couple weeks, they decided to ship me stateside. So they shipped me to the Great Lakes via Alaska. So from the jungles to Alaska, the Great Lakes Naval Hospital.